This is KC Sports Tonight.
What's up, friends? Welcome to the new streaming version of KC Sports Tonight, live from the KCTV5 newsroom. Scott Reiss, Neal Jones, good to be with you on this Friday. Yeah, you look like you've already got something to say.
I am. What? Look, I know everything's more casual out on the coast, which is what you call Los Angeles, and you're from Los Angeles. You're out on the coast. But do you disrespect our lovely audience that tunes in on Facebook or Twitter or what other areas? YouTube TV. We're on all these different sites. You won't even wear a tie. I go in, I'm wearing a sport coat and a tie, and he comes in dressed like that. I think it's just very demeaning.
I think before this conversation goes any further, perhaps we should zoom out the shot to see the full body.
I don't think that'd be a good idea at all. I don't,
really?
Scott. I don't think that would help anybody.
Are you ashamed of your legs? Because I can see them under the shorts that you're wearing with the coat and the tie and the pocket square.
I am wearing shorts, but at least this is called a television suit because you only see from here to here.
Ah, but this is not television. This is the more casual KCTV5 stream.
And speaking of that, I've been looking into this. As you know, I have a law degree in communications law from the University of Tulsa. They don't claim me, but I really do. And so I know a lot about the rules and regulations regarding and managing television stations over the air. And one of the things you can't do is have plug-ola or payola. Not only is that against the regulations, it's against the law. You could be fined. You could go to jail. You could have, I don't know anybody who's ever gone to jail. But you know what? We're not on television, so I can do product placement. Hi, I'm Neal Jones, and I, too, play Titleist Pro V, just like a bunch of guys. Tiger Woods played Pro Vs or played Titleist until they gave him a lot of money to play Nike. How'd that work out? So I can say this. If you want to send me a bunch of Pro V ones, I'll use them, and I don't think I can get in trouble. I don't think that's against the rules if you're online, right?
I guess we'll find out. But
I'm kidding, by the way. Don't send me Pro V ones.
This does live eternally as a podcast, so if you do say something that happens to be illegal, the evidence will be ample. It will not be hard to find. Yes.
Well, NASCAR guys do it, right? They mention, hey, I'm going to go get me a swig of Gatorade after the race.
NASCAR guys, literally every article of clothing, every accessory, everything on the car, like they're walking advertisements.
And I should say, you love Brill cream. He uses Brill cream on his hair. So
that's what you should do next time you're going to go sport coat and tie. You should get a sport coat that just has Pepsi and Tide and patches all over it, and just don't say a thing.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
A little extra money on the side. Before we get into Royals, probably worth mentioning the Chiefs did not sign Zay Jones, the wide receiver. He actually signs with the Arizona Cardinals. He visited Kansas City yesterday. There was some speculation that, again, with all the uncertainty with Reiss and the receiver questions, that they might want some extra insurance and extra body. And Zay Jones, I think, would have fit in pretty nicely here, but no go. He's going to Arizona.
Scott, there are a lot of franchises. They go out and spend a lot of money on big name receivers. I mean, top of the line receivers. They mortgage their future in some respects to get these people, but they don't take care of the quarterback position, or sometimes more importantly, they don't take care of the offensive coordinator position. The one thing I'll say about Andy Reid is, in the quarterback he's got, if they get a weapon, he will find a way to utilize them, and he'll work them in with their offense. And so usually when I find out that the Arizona Cardinals have gone out and got DeAndre Hopkins or someone, you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how does it?
How'd that work out?
Yeah, it doesn't usually take off. They don't have the same numbers, not because DeAndre Hopkins forgot to play football, how to play football, but the coaching out there wasn't very good. The system hadn't been refined. They had a quarterback who was coming in who was relatively new to the league. He was a second-year player. But when the Chiefs look at somebody, I think, if Andy Reid and Brett Veach pull the trigger on this guy, I'll bet you they find a way to use him because he's so great at it.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And we'll never know in this case, but still time, and there's still guys out there, so maybe they still will add another body as we await the Reiss inevitable suspension, which may or may not come at the start of next season. Let's not go there today. There's no new news. Let's talk about the baseball team because they're really good. They're exciting. You were here last night. Big win out in Anaheim, first game out on the West Coast. And, you and I sat here 2 days ago, and we talked a bit about Dairon Blanco and what he brings to the team as sort of a pinch running Energizer Bunny specialist. Well, he got a start last night, and all he did was go 3 for 3, hit a home run, score 4 runs, and steal 2 bases. I'm starting to think that they may have stumbled onto something here that they can use as more of a regular piece than just a 7th, 8th inning speed guy.
He was really impressive last night. He had a guy at third base, and then they steal a base, so it's guys at second and third. He gets a single, or he gets an extra. I wasn't watching the game. I was working on stuff, and so I was editing highlights and stuff, and they told me he clearly is getting productive at bats. But, Scott, as you know, how often do you see a guy have success and you're like, wow, this guy, he's up from Omaha and he's doing really well, or he's a guy they just brought in. What happens? They scout him, and they find your weaknesses. You cannot hide a weakness in baseball. In football, you can. In baseball, you can't. They play 162 games. They get 3 or 4 at-bats per game generally, and they all scout through video, and if a guy's not hitting the curveball, that's all he gets. Or if they're jamming him inside and he can't get the bat around on the ball and put it in play, well, that's what he's going to get. If he can't get his bat on the outside corner, that's what they're going to do. If he doesn't have a good batting eye and swings at balls, although the Royals catcher does that, Salvi does that.
Yeah, well, but he can hit him.
They'll continue to do that. So that's the thing that, what do they got, 100 at-bats so far this season? Let's wait till they get to 150, 200 at-bats, and then you really begin to see what a person really has.
Yeah, no doubt. But it does make you wonder whether there is a viable option here if some of these outfield bats continue to struggle. I mean, Kyle Isbell hitting about 220, Hunter Renfroe's under the Mendoza line. He did not look like the same guy. Blanco he's instant energy, and if he can hit at all, once a single becomes a double or maybe a triple every time he's on base, and that's a valuable weapon, and obviously plays good defense as well. So I think, I looked at this Royals team, and one of the weaknesses seemed to be the bench, right? Even if they get enough offense from the starting 9, there didn't seem to be a ton of guys on that bench who were really going to scare you. But if Dairon Blanco is a guy who you can stick into the starting lineup, then all of a sudden maybe you have a Hunter Renfroe coming off the bench and a guy who has right-handed power. I think it adds another dimension if, in fact, he's viable as more than just that late-inning pinch runner guy.
No question about it. Yeah. Blanco is a great athlete, as you say. That home run he hit was kind of a line drive home run, and that's kind of the hitter he's going to have to be.
Absolutely,
If he tries to hit the ball in the air, then he's going to have problems, particularly at Kauffman Stadium, as big as it is, in the power alleys. But if you're willing to hit the ball, go the opposite way, hit the ball where it's pitched, and put the ball in play, I think you have a chance to play, especially when you're as fast as he is. Scott, the most exciting thing for me about this is that it looks like this team might, underline the might be able to compete for a couple of months this year. And boy, it makes a big difference in a city when your baseball team is in the hunt and has an opportunity instead of digging a hole and they're trying to climb out of for the rest of the year.
Well, how about this? We spin it forward to tonight's game. They're looking for what would be, if they win tonight, their 4th 3 or more game win streak of this season already. Last year, entire year, they had 3. I mean, that's where we are in terms of night and day. How much better this team is, and it seems obvious because they were lousy last year. But this team continues to impress. And Neal, I love the fact we talked about this on Wednesday when they blew that agonizing game Tuesday night. They one out away from winning the first 2 games in the series against Milwaukee, and then MacArthur gives up the 3-run jack and they lose by 1. But they came back and they won a ball game the next day, and then they go to Anaheim and they win their first game on the West Coast, and now they're favored tonight with Alec Marsh coming off the injured list, and you see Griffin Canning's been a disaster so far this season with that ERA in the 6s. So all of a sudden you could be looking at another 3-game win streak. It just seems like even when they lose, they lose 2, 3, 4 in a row, they come right back and they win 3 or 4 in a row, and that's enabled them to sit 7 games over 500 at this point.
Well, thank goodness they did not sit pat in the offseason. They spent a lot of money, and they needed to spend a lot of money. And the scary thing is, or not the scary thing, but the thing that makes you wonder is if he had spent the money, the ownership had spent the money last year. And, you probably make some mistakes. You got a brand-new manager who doesn't know the team and all that stuff. But if they're decent last year, maybe the stadium thing goes through. Maybe they win enough goodwill. This was as bad a team as I can remember last year. They had a hard time winning 2 games in a row. Remember, they'd win one and then lose 2, then win one and lose 2.
Yeah, no, it was brutal.
They never got it going. And at some point, the only saving grace for them, last year's team, was the fact that Oakland was so awful. It kind of distracted people. When everybody talked about a terrible franchise and terrible ownership and a mess stadium deal and the fans hated the team, so nobody was going to pay attention to the Royals. The Royals were awful, and so what they've done this offseason, bringing in all these new players and then putting them together and getting them to – it seems like there's guys that are – they're not stars, but, Scott, they come in and make a defensive play that helps win a game, or they get a key base hit, or they move a runner, which allows them to get a guy home with less than 2 out. I mean, the little things that they've done this year have given them a chance to win a bunch of games, and, of course, that starting pitching staff gives them a chance to win almost every game.
Almost every night, and it Michael Wacha was the one guy who had a couple of rocky outings in a row, and then he comes back last night. He's lights out, didn't give up a run until the 6th inning, winds up getting the win. It's funny you mentioned the Athletics because, they were the laughingstock of baseball last year, and I don't think people expected much more out of them this year. They're only 3 games under 500. They're scoring a ton of runs. They're 4 games better than the Astros in the American League West. I mean, who would have thought Houston would be looking up at Oakland as we get into May? I mean, that's why baseball's fun, because you just never know.
It makes me think that maybe they've got a way to steal pitches like the Astros did. Maybe rather than using a trash can, they're using bonfires out in center field in that awful stadium to let them know if it's going to be a fastball or a curveball.
Maybe. No lineup out yet tonight because the game not till 8:38 Central Time. And by the way, the game not on Bally's tonight. The game's on Apple TV Plus. So
I have Apple TV.
Okay. Well, do you have Apple TV Plus?
I think we get the baseball.
Okay. If you get the baseball, you're good.
We got it so we could watch Ted Lasso, and I ended up watching a lot of Apple TV, the morning show.
Morning show's good. Yeah, good
I've
good
liked
stuff.
that show. There's a character very similar to you on the morning show. I think he's in jail at this point of the series.
He's clearly the brains behind the operation.
Now, let me ask you something seriously. Can you name a more frustrating franchise than the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and all the money they've spent? And they bring in these huge names. Trout's out hurt. They couldn't win despite having the best pitcher/hitter in baseball. I mean, that ballpark is an interesting ballpark. I thought it was a great ballpark. I don't know what it is now. You've been out there. What is the issue out there?
It's the West Coast version of the Knicks, right? I mean, until this season when the Knicks finally, got over the hump and looked like they're a playoff team and some people thought a legitimate contender. Big market, lots of money, and yet just finding a way. You could argue the New York Mets, too. They just find ways to implode. And the Angels have been that way for years, and part of it is that Trout finds a way to get hurt every single season, and it's never just, I tweaked my hamstring, I'm on the shelf for 3 weeks. It's a, torn meniscus, and it's 2 months, and it's oblique, and it's 2 months, and it's a broken this. I mean, it is remarkable, to your point, to think that you could have Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and even some good bats around them for the better part of the last few years. The pitching's been okay off and on, and yet year in and year out, they're a non-factor, and they're never even in this thing. It's August and they're done, and it's not the way it's supposed to be. But there are just some franchise, the L.A. Chargers, some franchises that just can't seem to get out of their own way, and the Angels are one of those.
Well, it's the worst name in all of baseball.
Angels?
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Well, but now the of Anaheim is no longer a thing. They realized it was the worst name in all of baseball, so now it's just the Los
they don't
Angeles
get the
Angels.
do-over. No. They don't decide what we call them. Okay. I call them that because it was such a stupid idea that it says all you need to know. And I'm going to tell you something else, and this is serious. I never use the term the K. Ever. Really? I never use it. The guy that they had running, the Royals had brought in from California, we had the Big A. We're going to call it the Big A. It was named Kauffman Stadium because there was a guy from Kansas City who believed in Kansas City and put his money where his mouth was, and he financed winning baseball. And he didn't complain and didn't demand a new stadium. All they did was win. And at the end of his life, when he knew he was sick and knew that he wasn't going to probably make it very much longer, they overspent and they blew money and they bought in free agents and stuff, and that did not work out. But that didn't come from penny pinching. That came because he cared. And the guy from L.A. who came in said, we're going to call it, we want to distance ourselves from the Kaufmans. We're going to call it the K. And when I heard that story from somebody who worked there, who was in the room when it happened, when I heard that story, I made a point. I am never going to call it the K.
I did not know that.
I'm going to call it Kauffman Stadium. That meant something. And so that's probably one reason I wasn't a huge fan of, the Big A is a great name, and that was kind of a neat ballpark when it first opened up.
And it had a big A.
Yeah, out, and you drove by and the great thing about A is it's the same from both directions.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. So it's an A looking this way, A looking that way.
Yeah, there you go.
And so it's not that I hate the franchise, but it bothered me a lot. And so ever since then, I have rooted against them, and that's probably not fair. Mike Scioscia was out there. I'm a Dodger fan,
right,
as you are. That's the only thing we share in common, and I think I got there first because I'm older. Mike Scioscia said, no, they're a great organization, and I had a friend who was a scout there who's passed on, but he was very helpful in educating me about Major League Baseball. So it's not like it's a terrible – and Gene Autry was a great owner and all that stuff. But I'm going to tell you, because of that, because a marketing guy comes in here and decides we don't want to name it Kauffman. We don't even want to mention him. He's dead now. They don't own the team anymore. We want to get away from him. That bothered me.
Not for nothing, but I will be at an Angels game next month. I'll be out there in L.A. for a week and planning to go to the Big A for the first time. And I haven't been there in probably 20 years, so I'm looking forward.
That's got to be free tickets, right?
No, actually, I haven't bought them yet. But
you're going to pay to go to a game there.
Yes.
You're a Dodger fan, and you're going to pay to go see the Angels?
It's a Tuesday night in Anaheim. The tickets will probably be $7.
But it's the Angels.
That's all right. It's baseball, man. I'm good.
Who are you going to yell? Who are you going to? Are you one of those guys that starts riding players you don't like and yelling at them and stuff?
No.
I think that's one of the fun things about baseball.
No. Only if I see a guy in the stands wearing a suit, a tie, and shorts, I'll get on that guy.
Yeah.
I should mention, since we put it on the side there, Alec Marsh off the injured list. He will start tonight for the Royals in Anaheim at the Big A.
What about Daniel Lynch? I mean, you weren't here a couple of years ago when
I know.
It was
one of the
worst things. Couple of the worst starts.
Yeah,
he was mashed so bad that somebody said he's tipping his pitches, and so that became the storyline. He's tipping his pitches. Well, so they quit tipping the pitches, and he still got it. Yeah, and it was just so frustrating because he's such a talented guy, and he's a good guy. If you've ever interviewed him, he seems like a nice guy. I'm thrilled that what do you have? 5 scoreless.
5 scoreless over the weekend, and then came in last night and cleaned up when Waka got tired. So yeah.
I used to watch the games when I anchored, but then I learned from you there's no reason to watch. Just have Rusty Glusing, our editor, and Gabe, little Timmy the intern, have them watch the game. Hey, Neal, 2-run homer. Neal, another 2-run homer. And so I don't get to see the games.
Good times. Well, you know what? If you're a whoops, that's not supposed to be that one. Hang on. We're not talking cheat. Hey, there we go. Okay. So, speaking of games, this is the soccer capital of America, I'm told. But this week, it's all over the place. You got Sporting playing the rare Wednesday Saturday, so they had to go to Omaha to play that sort of minor league team on Wednesday night in the first round of the Open Cup, and they barely got a win. They had to go to the 120th minute for the game-winning goal, but they survived there and they advanced, and they'll play Tulsa now, I think, on the 21st. And then they come back to Kansas City, and tomorrow, 3 days later, they got to play Houston, back to the regular season schedule of MLS, and a rematch of an opening day 1-1 draw. So that's tough. You got two games in 3 days, and they're playing a lot of soccer right now, and they're also trying to find their way kind of in real time because it's been a little bit of a struggle.
Well, one of the things about these midweek Cup games, this is the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, so it means more to Sporting KC and to the Kansas City fans than it does most markets. I'm sure down in Dallas, FC Dallas, or whatever the name of that team, I'm sure they care about it because it's named after Lamar Hunt, the patron saint of soccer in the United States. But other than that, these cups, these cup type games are a great opportunity to play all your young guys, see what they got, rest up the older players or players who might be a little gimpy, and that's why there's so many upsets, because Omaha, they're 2 steps down. Tulsa's 1 step down. The team they're getting ready to play.
Yes.
Omaha's 2 steps down. And this is like
their Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, it's our intramural team, and we're taking on the Jayhawks. Let's if we beat, and that's one of the great things. When I was overseas when I was young, and one of the great things they do there with the FA Cup, the Football Association Cup. It's the biggest tournament in the country. Everybody plays in it, and then the semifinals and finals are at Wembley. The old Wembley was the biggest stadium in the world, I think, 150,000 or 125,000. It would sell out, and it's a mixture of the NCAA tournament. If you can imagine high school teams playing in the NCAA tournament, it's like that. You have amateur sides that get in, and if they can pull off an upset, it's like they won the thing overseas. This is sort of like that, and so I kind of enjoy it. And I like it when the bigger teams have to go to these small parks and play, and it's a one-shot deal, right?
Yeah, no.
It's not a home and home,
Nope.
So I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, crowds are great.
And when they win that cup, I've been out there when they won the thing, the Lamar Hunt. It's a neat deal.
Yeah, and we'll see. Maybe they'll make a run. Make a run this year. They do have Tulsa, as you mentioned, coming up on the 21st in the round of 16. Current North Carolina Courage this weekend for the Currents, and also just announced they're going to host a game in August in the Women's Cup. It's an international 4-team tournament. It's coming to Kansas City for the first time in August. So just the latest rung in the never-ending stream of firsts for Kansas City soccer,
Yes.
Thanks to the Current this year. Okay, so the world according to Neal. Let's start with your feature story that you shot earlier today. Not going to air tonight, so I don't know how much you want to give away, but
we do have a story that airs tonight, Scott. Mm-hmm. It looks like that they've been able to bring it in.
If they can fix the
Well, we just switched over systems, and so I edited it last night on the old system, and they're trying to drag it into the new system. And I'm told, Rusty Gluzing, is it going to air? Yeah, he's editing it. That's our editor, Rusty Gluzing, who knows a lot more about sports than Scott or I do. But it's really fun. I got a chance to go up and interview an assistant football coach at Kearney High School. Kearney High School, a Class 3 power for many, many years. They won their 5th state championship last November over in Columbia, Missouri. They are special. They are great. The town loves their high school football. Well, they have an assistant coach who played NFL football. He actually played with Barry Sanders. And because his number and Barry Sanders' numbers were one apart, Barry Sanders number 20, he was number 21, he got to locker right next to Barry Sanders. He's an assistant coach. His son is a running back there for Kearney. And I got to go up there last Friday and see them in a weight room class and talk to the head coach, who's a great head coach, really always been very successful. So that's going to be on tonight, talking a little bit about what he brings to the table from the NFL. And I got news for you. It's not that much about technique and X's and O's. It's a lot more about approaches to life. I think it's a feel-good story. His name's Alan Williams. I was really excited to meet him. So I think that's going to be on tonight at 10, unless we have storms.
Unless we have storms or unless the new system breaks. But hopefully it won't.
I'm going to be off either way, so I don't care.
You're not going to be here. Yes. All right, so that's it. Anything else on the world according to Neal? Anything else?
Not really.
You feel the need to get out?
Let me ask you. I got a really nice email from a Chargers fan who said that he's tired that I make fun of them all the time for not having any fans. All right, you're from Los Angeles originally, right?
Yes.
Are there any Charger fans in Los Angeles? I don't know that there are, but he said that there are Charger fans in Los Angeles.
You know, when I went out there last season to cover the Chiefs-Chargers game in Los Angeles, I did an entire feature story on the fact that we couldn't find any Charger fans in Los Angeles. And we were pounding the pavement, man. We were looking the streets of Santa Monica. We went everywhere, and no go. So I'm sure they're out there, but there are not many.
I don't feel sorry for the is it the Spanos family?
Yes.
I don't feel sorry for them. They reached for the money grab.
Oh, it's a terrible move.
And they just killed their fans because they did have fans in San Diego.
Absolutely.
I hate San Diego Padre fans. I hate them. But I respected the Charger fans. So I feel bad for them. That who was their quarterback all those years out there? Phillip Rivers. I don't like Phillip Rivers very much, but as a player. But I'll tell you what: the fact that he did not move his very large family out of San Diego, and he paid a limo driver to drive him back and forth up the freeway into Los Angeles because he wanted to stay in San Diego because he loved it and he felt that the fans were getting cheated, and so in solidarity with them, he stayed and he would study his playbook and look at videos. Do all the stuff he would normally do anyway. He just did it in the limo going to and from the stadium.
Well, you need one of those like extended 20-person SUV limos to get all the kids in there. But yeah, Phillip Rivers, yeah, good player, borderline Hall of Famer. I don't think he's going to get in.
Oh, come.
Just the numbers.
No,
are
I don't.
The numbers
no,
are close.
no. What did he ever win?
Nothing. That's why he won't get in.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
Well, it is a
That's
Hall
why I
of
said borderline.
Fame. It's Hall of Fame, not Hall of Good or Great. It's Hall of Fame, and he is famous for not winning.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And remember, if you have a problem with anything I say, you can reach me at scott.reese@kctv5.com.
There you go. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, you lost your golf balls there.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to get them.
All right. Well, hey, look, hope you enjoyed the Friday edition. Wow, week 1 in the book. The new KC Sports Tonight, week 1 in the books. Back to TV tomorrow and Sunday, the usual time slot, 10:30, and then back here on Monday with, I don't even know, you're not here Monday. You're probably
I'm
off
off
on
Monday and Tuesday. So those are my days off.
Me and probably Marlia hanging with me on Monday.
Oh, that's going to be scintillating.
It'll be good. I can't say good TV. It'll be good internet. Good internet. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging. Enjoy the weekend. Have a fantastic Saturday, Sunday. Should be nice weather. And Neal, you have a good one, man.
My daughter's graduating from the University of Kansas this weekend.
Wow.
My son at the University of Missouri's got another year or 2 to go.
All right. Well, congratulations on that. Enjoy the family time, and I'll check you out tonight on the 6 o'clock news in about 24 minutes. I got to go. See ya.